Amy Goodman. We've still lost touch with Gaza. We'll see if we can get the 2 American doctors back who are volunteering there. We turn now, though, to look at 2 stories at the U.S. Department of Education. On Monday, Education Secretary Linda McMahon issued a warning to 60 universities that they're being investigated for anti-Semitism on their campuses and could face penalties. Her warning came days after the Trump administration withdrew $400 million in federal grants and contracts to Columbia University. This comes as Linda McMahon is moving ahead with plans to gut her own agency. On Tuesday, plans were announced to fire an additional 1,300 workers, effectively cutting the agency's workforce in half since Trump took office. We're joined now by Tariq Habash, who served as a policy advisor in the Department of Education's Office of Planning, Evaluation, and Policy Development until he resigned 14 months ago to protest President Biden's support of Israel's war on Gaza. He was the Education Department's only Palestinian-American appointee. He's co-founder and director of A New Policy, a lobbying group focused on U.S. policy towards Israel and Palestine. So, Tariq Habash, we brought you on to talk about 2 issues. One is what Linda McMahon, the new education secretary, has just announced, warning 60 universities equating anti-Semitism with the pro-Palestinian protests on campus, where many of those who are protesting are Jewish students, and then also the gutting of the department, what it means. Why don't you start with the warning?
Thank you so much for having me back, Amy. I think it's pretty clear what this administration is trying to do, and it has nothing to do with anti-Semitism, unfortunately. It has everything to do with Donald Trump's vision for America, which is consolidating his authoritarian power and pressuring any political dissidents who disagree with his policies and his approach, and leveraging our civil rights laws and our institutions to be able to repress any sort of dissent and active speech on college campuses or across the country. And unfortunately, this isn't something that is just happening under Donald Trump, but this was long-standing under the Biden administration, and one of the reasons that I left. Unfortunately, this idea that student protests in solidarity with Palestinian rights, this idea that anti-war protesters are somehow, hateful or discriminating against their peers, particularly when Jewish students are disproportionately represented in these protests, is really concerning. And Trump is escalating that threat against college campuses right now through the announcement that you said Linda McMahon made, 60 colleges now essentially being put on notice for investigations. The problem with that is also that we are simultaneously seeing the Department of Education get gutted. And a huge part of the gutting that is happening just a couple days ago is specifically targeting the Office for Civil Rights and all of the experts and lawyers that are in charge and tasked with doing the investigations that take a pretty substantial amount of time to do. What is happening here is not real investigations into actual discrimination. This is a political ploy. This is the weaponization of our institutions, and it's extremely dangerous. And colleges have an obligation to stand up and protect not only their students and faculty, but our democratic institutions as we know them.
And so what does it mean it's clear from Project 2025, what President Trump has said, and Linda McMahon even, that they're actually trying to just shut down the Department of Education, but to lose half its staff. What this means, they say just give money to the states. The Department of Education is just a bureaucracy.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is patently illegal for Donald Trump and the executive branch to just eliminate a federal agency. And they know that, which is why they're doing the next best thing in their eyes, although still illegal, is completely gutting the entire civil service and workforce without any rationale or reason for that to happen. The Department of Education does numerous things that they can't just, wave away with money to states and money to schools and that be the end of it. There's a lot of oversight, there's a lot of security, there's a lot of student privacy and data and information that the department is responsible and obligated to protect. And when you gut the people that are doing that day-to-day work, when you're gutting the people who are doing the program compliance to make sure that schools are following the rules and protecting their students and providing equal opportunity for education, it creates a really, really dangerous circumstance where money is not going where it needs to go and people are misusing the money. And when you talk about that in the context of what DOGE is supposed to be doing, this idea of government efficiency and ending waste, fraud, and abuse, this is the exact opposite. The Department of Education is the smallest cabinet agency. They had just over 4,200 employees just a few months ago. This is not a bloated institution. This is an institution that is working for the American people and some of our most vulnerable, our students, our disabled students, our students who are international, who are here to study and to learn, to be able to contribute to society, to serve their communities. And it's horrifying to see that the Trump administration doesn't value any of that. And the reality is they don't value education. They value what they can use the Department of Education for, which is turning it into a propaganda machine, a political tool to be able to consolidate Donald Trump's power.
Well, Tariq Habash, I want to thank you for being with us, co-founder and director of A New Policy, lobbying organization focused on U.S. policy towards Israel and Palestine. He's former Department of Education official who resigned in response to President Biden's support of Israel's war on Gaza, was the department's only Palestinian-American appointee. Elon Musk targeted me over Tesla protests. That proves our movement is working. That's a new article, a headline of a new article in The Guardian by our next guest, who's been helping to organize the Tesla takedown protests at Tesla showrooms to protest Elon Musk, President Trump's billionaire advisor, the richest man in the world, and his top campaign donor. While Musk has been helping to dismantle numerous government agencies, or leading the charge to dismantle them, stock prices for his company Tesla have fallen so much that President Trump felt compelled this week to announce he'll personally buy a Tesla. On Tuesday, Trump and Musk held what's compared to an infomercial for Tesla outside the White House. During the event, Trump told a reporter that he considers attacks on Tesla dealerships to be domestic terrorism.
Mr. President talks about some of the violence that's been going on around the country at dealerships. Some say they should be labeled domestic terrorists.
I will do that. We got a lot of cameras up. We already know who some of them are. We're going to catch them. And they're bad guys. Let me tell you, you do it to Tesla and you do it to any company, we're going to catch you and you're going to go through hell.
We're joined now by Valerie Costa, a Seattle-based activist who's helping to organize the Tesla takedown movement with the local group Troublemakers and others. Valerie, can you talk about Elon Musk singling you out, and what are you doing in organizing, what is your goal, these protests around the country, from Washington State, Seattle, where you are, to here in New York, the Tesla dealership here?
Yeah, hi. So this past weekend, I woke up first Saturday to a tweet where Elon Musk had tweeted that Troublemakers, the group I organize with, along with 4 other organizations, were Act Blue funded, which is, at least for Troublemakers, is outright not true. And then Sunday morning, I received, a friend sent me the most chilling text for me, which was Elon Musk had retweeted another tweet where this person had taken a clip from a podcast interview I did about the Tesla takedown protests and made allegations that I was promoting vandalism and such. And Musk said, Costa is committing crimes. So that was terrifying to receive the news of that tweet. And the fallout from that has just been, there's been a lot of people online trying to smear me, make connections, make up stories about who I am and where I get money from, all sorts of just harassment. And I've received threats. It's been scary. It's been scary. In response to a tweet from a person who essentially bought his way into the White House as the largest online and social media platform and is spreading outright lies about me and the movement as a whole, the Tesla takedown movement as a whole. So I'm just an organizer with the Seattle-based group Troublemakers. There's a group of us here. We're working with a number of organizations and individuals who've been planning protests at Tesla showrooms in the area for the last month or so. They're peaceful, nonviolent protests. They're First Amendment protected, free speech, peaceful assembly. And we've done that and will continue to do that as this movement is gaining momentum.
Can you talk about the fake buyers? Actions at Tesla dealerships where there have been reports of protesters faking interest in buying a Tesla to waste time.
I'm not sure. I know that people are, using different strategies and tactics to engage with Tesla. But I can't speak to that particular strategy that people are using. I think there's different tools in the, protesters' toolbox. I mean, essentially protesting Tesla, this protest is ultimately about hitting Elon Musk's bottom line. Every dollar that goes into Tesla, every Tesla that's purchased increases essentially his profits. And the more money he has, it's clear the more influence he has in the government and in the world. He was able to, like I said, buy his way into the White House with his $250 million contribution to Donald Trump's campaign. And he bought Twitter, giving himself sort of a platform to spread lies. And this campaign is giving people a way to show their outrage about what he's doing to dismantle critical services and government institutions that people rely on for their health and well-being in this country.
And can you talk about the strategy of Tesla takedown, urging people to dump Tesla stock?
I think it's just related to what I just said. It's really about, you as a consumer, you as a person that may have stocks and investments, you can choose where to put your money. And I think right now, given the essentially fascist takeover of our government, one thing that you can easily do is to move your money out of Tesla into other companies, into other things in your community. You can move it out of the market where your money will be used for better, for good.